Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea Chiarico and I want to do another video today about the information I received from the 25th dimension in my last hypnosis session last week. I've gotten so much information. This session was almost 5 hours long, 4 hours, 54 minutes. Madness what they have told me, and I really am looking forward to sharing it with you. I'm cutting this content down into multiple videos because it's a lot to take. Sometimes there is so much wisdom and they're breaking down concepts that we sometimes completely have backwards. So hopefully you are enjoying this series. And before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please like, subscribe to my channel and share this video if it resonates with you. And also please leave me a comment below because I like to know if this resonates, if it triggers any memory within you. A lot of us are remembering things that we have forgotten since we were children, because of course, when we were children, we knew all of this already. So hopefully this helps with that. And I would love to hear from you if it does. All right. So when I say Carolyn, I'm referring to my hypnotist. And when I say me, I'm referring to myself answering during my hypnotic state. And the messages coming out of me, obviously, come from the 25th dimension. So Carolyn, you said that there is no awakening or ascension because we were already all ascended masters. Is this concept of awakening we hear about from the spiritual gurus just a made-up concept within the Matrix game? Something we like to believe we are doing? Me. Yes. It's a rule to keep people entertained so they have something to aim for. Carolyn. So just part of the story that we choose to place ourselves in. So we have people in places and things to do kind of thing. Me. It's just like if you play a game of hide and seek, you explain the rules. You say, well, here's the goal, here's how you win. Or maybe a game of poker, say, okay, you win when you get to this particular result. Or a game where you win when you get to 10. It's just a rule. Ascension is an outcome. It's a rule within the game that if you win, you get to ascend. And this is what keeps a lot of people excited about the light team, because we get to ascend. So it is just a rule. It's to provide meaning to this existence and this dimension. This game, you might be curious to know that this game exists on a lot of other planets. They do talk about ascension. It's a way to keep you focused on the light. It's the team of the light that has actually come up with this one. And it is just so that you have something that you can go for, something that you can aim for over time. But it's not real. We don't have to. We don't have to ascend. There is no judgment. You are no better than anybody else if you get to ascend in the game. Everybody gets exactly what they want anyway. There is no punishment for you if you don't ascend. So we don't have to ascend. This is all make-believe. Carolyn, so there's no punishment if we don't ascend. But what about those beings that choose the experience of, say, being a non-believer in God or source? Is that all just for the purpose of learning? Me. Oh my gosh. They're the ones having the best time here. Imagine how funny it is that they are energy and one with source, and they're pretending that there is no God. I mean, that's hilarious when you think about it. I mean, I think that's brilliant. I actually, Clay, experienced it for a few years. I think it's really funny. I mean, why not, right? You only get to do it here. There are really no other planets where they are that delusional. And they were laughing here when they said that. And yes, I have been an atheist for a few years. On every other planet, there is an understanding that spirituality is innate in humans, which of course it is here as well. That's why we're always circling the drain, right, of spirituality, whether we do it from one end, which is religion, whether we do it from the other end, which is pretending that we don't believe in God, or whether we are spiritual, consciously spiritual. We're always circling that. Why? Why is this the biggest key to the meaning of life for many of us? If you really didn't care, you wouldn't even have to talk about it. You'd be like, what? We wouldn't even have to have an opinion. But it is so pervasive because guess what? That's who we are. It is such a foundation for our game here. Carolyn, there's so much truth in that whole complete statement that you just said. I'm just like grinning over here going, yes, yes, yes. So are our collective awareness and frequency increasing at all? Me. From within the matrix, if you want to see it that way, you can pretend that the light is making strides if that's what you mean by frequency increasing. Now, planet Earth is increasing in frequency in the sense that there is more energy coming in because the veil is thinning. It's what we've talked about, these glitches. The grid is not as stable as it used to be. So we have energy, true energy coming in to mess up the game here and there. And you might want to refer, if you haven't watched the last video I put out, you might want to watch that video where it explains that we are now playing at the edges of reality. And that's why we're seeing all these glitches in the matrix. Carolyn. So that really is a sign of the board being taken down. Me. Yeah, absolutely. The grid, it's already crumbling. It's already started. So this is real. This is affecting our reality, what we call our reality, this material place that we live in. However, does it mean there are frequencies rising in terms of we have to go somewhere? Not necessarily. Some of us, of course, are becoming more open to spirituality, open to consciousness, maybe even just more awake in terms of how the system really works. So you don't have to be 5D, 6D, 7D, or whatever. You can be 4D, and that's increasing awareness for you. You could call it a rising consciousness, but this is not happening for any particular reason other than we're aligning with the places we want to go to so that there isn't such a strict, strident contrast when we get there. So imagine if you were in 3D, you don't believe in aliens, you're probably scared of aliens because you watch way too many movies, and all of a sudden you end up on a ship. That would freak you out. That's why this is not going to happen. So a lot of people are awakening to these things so that they are ready for the next step. It makes sense to them. They will still be startled because we don't really have access to a lot of the stuff as it actually happens out there. So there will be a lot of learning. This will be fun, but it's not going to be frightening. It's not going to be fear-inducing. This is why when we behave in any certain way, or have been behaving in a certain way on the planet, especially during the last 2 years, all we have done is align ourselves with the place we're going to. We are preparing ourselves to be comfortable with the place we're going to. So the point here they're trying to make is that what you have seen people do that you might disagree with, that you might think is like, oh, what is wrong with these people? Why are they like that? Why are they thinking what they're thinking? Why are they not thinking? Is because they are aligning, their behavior is aligned so that there is integrity and it's kind of a smooth transition between what they believe here and the reality they're going to meet, where they're going to. So we kind of have it backwards here where we think that we're behaving a certain way. For example, we're ascending, we're becoming more spiritual, and all of a sudden because we're ascending, we're going to a higher level dimension or anything like that. It doesn't work like that. It's exactly the opposite is what they're describing. Basically, because we have come into this life and we have made a choice, and the choice has been available pretty much up until now. So it's not something that we necessarily had to decide before coming into this life. In fact, a lot of people didn't know the event was going to happen in this lifetime. They initially said only the 12,000 were aware that the event was going to happen in this generation, in this lifetime. So a lot of people have come here, and then at some point they have decided they were going to experience a certain type of reality next, which might be new Earth. It might be a containment chamber where they're going to have a new 3D, improved 3D simulation, or they're just going to be consciously hanging out with the aliens on ships and other planets. And because of that choice we've made, now our behavior, we're going to run into things that are either going to wake us up or we're not going to awaken because, quote unquote, awaken, meaning we're not going to understand that the system is rigged, that's not real, that this is a game, because otherwise it would be too much of a contrast. We wouldn't believe in the next reality we're going to. We'd either be scared or we just wouldn't, it wouldn't work for us. So a lot of the stuff we're doing, what we're doing makes sense basically for our own choices. Carolyn. So with that said, in order to take this down, the 12,000 just needed to be aware and in communion with each other. And literally the whole planet could have been asleep and everything was in the making anyway. It would just happen anyway. Me. Yeah, simply the whole planet would have gotten to a 3D place. There is no judgment. The civilization, this, if you want to call it human population, because of course none of us are human. If it just whatever decided to all, whatever, if everybody decided to go to 3D, up they go. You don't have to, again, you align with where you're going. So the reason you're seeing different people making different choices, being all over the place, is because we're not all going to the same place. Carolyn. So it doesn't matter whether we are awake or asleep in regards to the planetary population. Me. That is correct. This is not coming down because of a certain state of consciousness of the population. This is coming down because this game sucks and nobody wants to play it anymore. And they've told us this over and over again. Carolyn. So in regards to, and I think you really did just answer this, you know, the light workers, from the ones that I have seen, that I have been able to touch via your connection, we are all in a phase of connecting using our gifts, our powers per se. Will those that really choose not to lighten themselves to be more connected, will they all go to 3D then? Me. Are you referring to the 12,000 or not the 12,000? The reason they're asking for clarification, because she used the word light workers. Light workers in English just means people who are on the team of the light, who are maybe awake and they want to do things for others. They are in service to humanity. They're healers or whatever shape that light work is happening. But the 25th is very precise about their use of language. And they've told us from the beginning, there are only 12,000 light workers on this planet at this time. So they're asking, who are you referring to when she asked? So that we're in the phase of connecting as light workers. So, but if I choose not to light myself up or to become aware, well, then will I just go to a 3D planet? So Carolyn is now clarifying, no, not the 12,000. I'm understanding that the 12,000 know where they're going. They're going to New Earth. They're very much aware. And this is correct. All 12,000 are going to New Earth. But if I chose myself not to wake up, not to be connected, would I automatically go to that next choice that I had chosen? Me, as a light worker or as a normal person? Carolyn, as a normal person. Me. As a normal person, yes, you would. You would go to, you've made your choice. However, you are showing your choice and aligning with your choice in the 3D through certain things happening to you. You do not wake up by chance. You wake up to the extent that you need to wake up for you to be able to go to, for example, a more 4D experience. If you were to not do this, it would be too scary for you. You would rather not wake up at all and go to your 3D simulation. These things do not happen by chance. We do what we have to do so that we are ready for the next step in our evolution. Carolyn, understood. So along the lines of light and dark, as far as going where we're going to go from this game, does it really matter which side we're on? Will we automatically go where we've already decided to go? Me. As we have mentioned before, the reptilians are also ascending. It does matter what game we play here, to the extent that this is the reason why we are going where we're going. The reptilians are not going to simulation chambers. They are not going to hang out with the aliens. They have their own history that's unfolding. That's why they have decided to incarnate in this lifetime as reptilians. Of course, they look different to us. So in the sense, it is important that we are part of the light, or that if we are on the team or the dark, or we like to straddle the line, we're not actually reptilians. Because the solutions that we've been talking about, these next steps, are only for quote unquote humans. So in that sense, it matters how we have chosen to incarnate here. Carolyn. And then will those reptilians who are also on their journey to enlightenment per se, will they go to source to rest, or will they go somewhere else? Me. Some of them will go back to source, just like some of the humans will, but most of them are going to go back to the planets that they came from. They have planets already. Carolyn. Oh, amazing. What's the point of being on the side of the light when we might as well be on the side of the dark and we'll still be just fine? I am very curious about this. That's why I wanted this question to be asked, because we are told that you're supposed to be on the side of the light to get certain rewards. Whereas if this is all a game and we're all on the same side, we're just playing these different roles, then, and there is no judgment for any of our choices, then does it matter if we're on the side of the light or the dark? Me. It has to align with what you're wanting to do next. So while we've all been on all sides through our history here, if we've been here long enough to have different experiences, your particular alignment in this lifetime is relevant, because it's what will allow you to step into the next reality, the next phase of your life you set up for yourself. In that sense, there is no judgment for you being on one side or the other. However, being on the quote unquote wrong side, in terms of misaligned side from where you're wanting to go, will not work for you. You would be stumped in your growth, in your desire of experiencing a particular experience next. And therefore, in that sense, that is why a lot of people have aligned themselves, or more and more people are aligning themselves with the side of the light. Because for the light, there are a lot of these people who are going to have different experiences than people will have on the side of the dark. A lot of people who have been on the side of the dark in some really negative ways, they're going back to source. Basically, what they're saying is that there are more options available on the side of the light. That's why a lot of people are moving to the side of the light, even the ones who have been straddling the line. And this is because a lot of people have done such negative things on the side of the dark, especially in this incarnation, that they're just going to go back to source to rest and recalibrate. Carolyn. If there is no awakening, is the discarding of this board simply a sign that the dark team has won and ruined the game to the point that we can't fix it anymore? Me. It's a very 3D way of thinking about it, but yes, there has been lack of balance in this game pretty much from the very beginning. We have tried to set it back on par, and we, as the light team, have fallen behind. We have already discussed this, and that's why we came up with the need. We were forced into this solution of taking this down, which is not something we wanted to see. We've put a lot of effort into this planet, all of us, and it was supposed to be a lot more fun than it has turned out to be. So there is a bit of recrimination or sadness in taking this down. So has the dark won? The dark team won? Not really. I think we have all lost. The entire game has not gone the way we wanted. We like to believe that, while it is true that we set up everything with our thoughts, we like to believe that we can predict all the consequences of what we set up. But that is actually not the truth, at least at this level. We are open to experiences and we like to be surprised. So we will try things just to see what comes out of it. And unfortunately, a lot of the things we've lived through, we just didn't predict. We didn't forecast. And they've turned out to be a lot darker and a lot less fun than we expected. And then we got stuck in them. We were in a quagmire, if you wish. So a lot of the things we've lived through, we did not want. And this is why we're taking this down, including the dark. The dark did not want to have a game that became so dystopian, even for them. While in a 3D perspective, some people might wish for a dystopian world, the truth is that this feels very unsafe and destabilizing to a lot of people. Now, we're talking from a 3D perspective, of course. There is no lack of safety as essence. But what has ended up happening is that nobody feels safe anymore. Nobody's enjoying themselves. You cannot enjoy yourself when you feel unsafe. And what's happened is that the dark is very, very scared right now for their own lives. They really don't know what is going to happen. A lot of them are even fighting going back to the 25th dimension because they are very, very lost. And they have done more damage to themselves than they have done to others in so many ways. And I know that for a lot of us, this is hard to believe considering all the dark things they have done. But this is why the game is coming down. If it was just the light team or just a portion of this population that was not enjoying it anymore, this would have not happened. This is coming down because both teams are very disappointed in how the game panned out. And they're trying to say that a lot of the reasons this has panned out this way and the balance has been lost was a surprise. It's just miscalculations on both sides, but mostly on the side of the dark. They introduced things that they thought would have a certain result, and instead they took the game way too much into the direction of the dark, negative polarity. And the light team decided that we weren't going to intervene, we were just going to infiltrate the game, and whatever else has been decided, and none of this has worked. So we were surprised. And while normally we like being surprised, the surprising outcome we've had has not been satisfactory. And that's why we are where we are, taking us down now. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to stop this here because I think this particular video was really especially dense with information. And I know that I will be rereading this several times so that it sinks in. So thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Please do leave a comment on this because I think this is very important information. I would love to hear if it resonates with you and what you think of it. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.